we have something which is very important when it comes to the way we deal with other civilizations or concepts and terminology. When we come back to the Quran and we say, يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَىٰ وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. The fact that there is this diversity, التعارف here, this mutual knowledge, is also to listen to what the people are saying about their own concepts. And it's something that we need to understand what they mean when they are talking about modernity. It's not for us to say, for example, I would say, no, that's not true. Modernity has nothing to do with homosexuality, and to be modern doesn't mean that we have to accept that. That's not the way the West would talk about it. So, the first is intellectual probity and intellectual honesty is, what do you mean by this? And then we take a stand. I would say that, for example, if we listen to what is said by, for example, the French philosopher and sociologue Turenne or Rawls, for example, when they talk about modernity, they say 5 principles. First one is the primacy of the individual. That's essential, and this is where it's about the self, but it doesn't mean selfishness. It's not exactly the same. The self it's the self first. Do we agree with this? Yes or no? This is one. The second is rationality. Do we have a problem with rationality as a Muslim? We don't. The problem is rationality the final answer to everything? No. This is not what we are saying. But we acknowledge the fact that rationality is something which is essential. Third, progress. Do we have a problem with progress? We don't. But there is something here which is the way we define modernity is the primacy of the individual, rationality, progress, and then comes something which is important, is freedom. And then the 5th one that they put, for example, Turenne is talking about this, it's talking about secularity or secularism. Meaning, in fact, you are not going to get any of the 4 first, the first 4th, if you don't have the last one. Why? Because the Western experience is the primacy of the individual, rationality, freedom, and progress came through the secularization process. And I think that we need to understand this because this is where we have to answer to something which is, in fact, I would say, and this is where I agree with you, anyone who is telling me or trying to make me understand that modernity is after tradition, I say, I'm sorry, modernity is a tradition. It's coming from somewhere. It's in itself a tradition. Then we have to understand the system, the paradigm, the narrative that is behind it. And this is where, as Muslims, I wouldn't just reject the concept. I want to understand the system to say, my answer to this is I don't have a problem with this if and only if I start with the 2 fundamental principles of Islam, which is understanding al-fitra, fitrat Allah, التي فطر الناس عليها, وال-khilafa, meaning إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة. I'm going to put on earth someone who is understanding one thing which is very important. You don't have the final ownership of everything on earth. You are just here to manage. Al-Khilafa means that, yes, we are going to be rational, but rational understanding the goals. And the goals is Al-Ubudiyyah. And this is where we understand that we come with all these concepts, but we have a system, we have a paradigm, we have principles through which we come to these. So I don't have a problem with rationality, but rationality without faith, or without understanding our own limits, is arrogance. And arrogance is shaitani. Rationality with Allah is humility. Rationality with Khilafah is humility. So this is where I think that we have to take this discussion, but I wouldn't just come to define the concept if we don't understand the concept within the whole understanding, which is the cosmology. This is the understanding of the way we deal with Allah. What does it mean to say and to understand what is to worship Allah? So terminology is important, but terminology with a concept of life and death, which is also something that we have to add and to put within this discussion. Wallahu a'lam.
Thank you.